All right. Looks like we're waiting for a few people to show up. I know these have been a slow month for August for YouTube. A lot of people are going back to school, children and everybody. So today we're going to be talking about the CDC eviction order, the new one for October. And looks like I've got at least one person watching. Hey, Jalen, how are you doing? Let me go ahead and put up some consulting information for you guys. And by the way, we're going to be showing Big Pops today. I know a lot of y'all been asking about those cats I'm always rescuing. So before we really get deep into this, talking about the CDC memorandum and the forms you're going to need to fill out, we're going to bring out Big Pops, the big cat. So I'll tell you what, guys, hold on one second. I'm going to cover up the camera. I'm going to bring Big Pops over so y'all can take a look at one of my 22 cats. All right, this is Big Bear. He's hard to see, but he's a big one. Now you have your normal house cats; those weigh, 10 or 15 pounds. This guy, he's about 30. He's about 32 to 34 inches long, and he'll gladly take on any of the alley cats in the neighborhood. So I wanted y'all to see him. It's Big Pops. He's also the guardian of all my females and other males. Post a couple of pictures. So I know that's off course, guys, but I just wanted y'all to see. All right, so hopefully y'all can hear me. I put this up extra loud. That way, if you've got two bell tones, you can hear today. And I know that last video was terrible. You could hear. So, all right. So as y'all may know, they do have an eviction memorandum out again. And I'm a little bit late getting this to you guys. So let's talk about what it is. First of all, it's going to last till October 2nd. And let me get the forms for y'all real quick. That way you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to copy and paste. Look, this is a live video, so this is not pre-recorded. You have a chat window, which you can speak and chat with me. That's anybody. You don't need to be a member of this channel. So if you're on a phone, I don't know how that works, but laptop, desktop, tablet, please do ask questions. That's what I'm here for. And I'm going to put up both. And here they come. All right, link number one, and you may have to open it up a little bit. It looks like they took, yeah. So the first is we're going to do the reading of the will, and this is going to be basically the Centers for Disease Control, and just bear with me. We're going to read through it for those of you that don't have time to read. So Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Department of Health and Human Services. This is going to be order under Section 361 of the Public Housing Service Act of 42.264. And then I'm going to skip the rest of the jargon. And this will be a summary of definitions. Covered persons means any tenant, lease, or resident of a residential property who provides to their landlord or the owner of a residential property or other person with a legal right to pursue eviction or promissory action, a declaration or under penalty of perjury, indicating that the individual has used, number one, the individual has used best efforts to obtain all available government assistance for rent and housing. Look, that's pretty open. That's way open, wide open. So, number two, an individual, i.e., earning no more than $99,000. Look, guys, if you're earning $100,000 a year, you really shouldn't be here. Or $198,000 if you're joining. So basically, if you're two attorneys are needing assistance, which that would be bizarre, then as long as you don't make more than $198,000 between two individuals in the calendar year of 2020, or expects to earn more than $99,000 in annual income for the calendar year of 2021, this is for you. Okay, so that pretty much covers everybody, unless you live in New York and you're high, you make a lot of money. So we're gonna go down. Number three, the individual is unable to pay the full rent or make a full housing payment due to substantial loss of household income, loss of compensatable hours or work and wages, a layoff, or extraordinary out-of-pocket medical expenses. So, reading this, it pretty much covers everybody. We have number four, the individual is using best efforts to make timely partial rent payments that are as close to the full rental payment as the individual circumstances may permit. What I mean by that is they would preferably like to see you pay at least 15% against your rent and up to 24 if you can. Number five, eviction would likely render the individual homeless. So, one thing I want to say about this is I'm reading through this. We're on number five out of six. They've covered pretty much every possible way to make this work for you guys. I mean, I've never seen anything written so easy. I mean, everybody's got medical problems. Nobody can pay rent, and nearly anybody would be homeless if they're forced out their home. So, but anyways, number five, eviction will likely render the individual homeless or force the individual to move in or reside in close quarters in a new congregate or shared living setting. In other words, a homeless shelter. That's just a clever way they put it, because the individual has no other available housing options. Number six, the individual resides in a U.S. Uh, county experiencing substantial or high rates of SARS-CoV-2 as defined by CDC. Look, guys, if you live in New York, California, Texas, any major state or any places that have been hit, you're pretty much in that area. If you live in Billings, Montana, they might have an argument not to give you rent, but I think that covers a vast portion of the country. And so let's talk about what eviction actually means and how it's applicable. So evict or eviction means an action by a landlord or owner of residential property or other person with a legal right to pursue an eviction or promissory action to remove or cause the removal of a covered person from a residential property. This definition does not prohibit foreclosure of a home or a home mortgage. If you own the home, this is not necessarily going to work for you, okay? And so I'm going to go down to a few other issues here. The statement of intent. This order shall be interpreted and implemented in a manner as to achieve the following: mitigation to spread COVID-19 within a crowded, congregate, or shared living settings, and also through unsheltered homelessness. So that speaks to the homeless population. Mitigation to further spread the COVID-19 from one state or territory into another, in other words, state to state, county to county, and in the mitigation to further spread COVID-19 by temporarily suspending the eviction of covered persons from residential property for non-payment of rent. So that would be most of you. Supporting response efforts to COVID-19 at the federal, state, local, territorial, and tribal levels. So I understand some of this is a bit convoluted in the way they wrote it. It was written from basically one lawmaker to the next. Certainly is not written for the ordinary person. Now, I've said what I need to say about that. There's very little reasons why you wouldn't be able to use this. So let's take a look at the order. So this is the form you're going to need. I'm going to go ahead and copy that link in there again for you again, guys. So that was just actually the reading of the will, as you might put it. And now we're going to go here. Now I realize you guys are asking me questions. So hold off a little bit here. And all right, guys, you need to hit that form right there. Give it out to friends, family, neighborhoods. That's what you're going to need to fill out. Get that in as quick as possible. Do not ever just slap a stamp. A certified mail, tracking number, signature only. You need to prove this. All right. So let's go into that form real quick for those of you that are able to click it, take a look. And I'm going to do some light reading. All right, 2 pages. Eviction Protection Order Declaration. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has issued an order that may protect you from being evicted or removed from where you are living. This means that you may be able to stay at the place where you're living through October 3rd, 2021. That's at October 2nd. My mistake. How to use this form. So to see if you qualify, let's talk about qualifications. I received a stimulus check or economic impact payment for 2021. Congratulations, you get it. I was not required to report any income to the IRS in 2020. I am receiving any of the following benefits: food stamps, temporary assistance, in other words, TANF, TAMP, supplemental Social Security, SSI, supplemental Social Security Disability Income, SSDI. In 2020 and 2021, I earned or expect to earn less than $99,000. Look, I haven't talked to a lot of people that have earned over that this year. So, column B, I cannot pay my full rent or make a full housing payment because of. So you get a secondary option. These were people that had the opportunity to somewhat try. My household income has gone down substantially. Look, if it's 1 penny down, then you're down. There's no deciphering that. I've been laid off from work. My work hours and wages have been cut. I have extraordinary out of pocket medical expenses. Look, guys, What happens when you go visit the ER today to have your blood pressure checked? How much is that bill going to be? There you go. Now, I'm not saying to go do anything corrupt, but I'm just saying you walked into an ER to give you a bill. That's pretty extraordinary, isn't it? What an ER can charge you. They can charge you $16,000 for you to go in and see that doctor. I'd say that would meet column B, wouldn't it? All right, so let's go over to the chat real quick. All right, so I've given you some basic information. You have the links now, so you're able to see read the declaration. It's 9 pages. You have the form. You need to fill it out, check the boxes, and then send it certified mail. Pretty self-explanatory. It binds you until October 3rd. On October 3rd, we'll see what happens again. So at that point, I should say that where you stand with this is simply this: when October 3rd hits, if no other interventions in place by city, state, and so on, then you'll need to likely pay all the rent soon. Now, most of you may not know this, but any landlord that wants to file an eviction is going to pay out several $100s, and you need a process server. Then you got to wait for a court date, and then after the court date, So here's the deal: do you think in all these counties we're evicting 10 million, 20, 30, 40 million people? Do you think they're going to be able to give you a court date anytime in next year? Probably not. So it sucks with a landlord. I know that. But let me tell you something, guys. Um, the chances of somebody putting you out your house in the next year is probably not likely. It'd probably be more like October next year before they could put you out. So unless you live in a really small town or you live in Florida, because Florida allow people to complete the eviction process all the way up to the court date, and then they stop there, couldn't evict you, and of course they're waiting, and now they're waiting again to October 3rd. Look, you get a notice on your door that says 3-day notice to vacate. That's bullshit. Okay, that is a request. Unless a judge says get out, and you have the sheriff at your door saying that you have 2 hours to move out, nothing that landlord puts on your door means anything. It's toilet paper. Anybody can print out clever forms, even if they have filed the eviction, went and got the paperwork, filled it all out. Doesn't mean they filed it. Okay, that's another game landlords like to play. So you take a look at the form, and if the form, you call the county courthouse, oh yeah, well they came by and got it, but they never filed or paid for it. Well, then you go, you know what? You just got tricked. Look, guys, when you get things taped to your door, if you can't verify it, then they're just playing games with you. Okay. So let me tell you something. I work for landlords too. I'm just telling you guys because I don't want to see any of you on the street. So let's get down to some of the nuts and bolts of this. Look, guys, housing crisis. We already know that. We already know that across 50 states, 20, 30, maybe 40 million people are facing eviction right now. It's serious. And most of the housing waste lists in the country have now doubled, tripled in 5x. And you guys have got to start reacting. You got to start looking in your housing situation. Do not wait till October 3rd. Do not wait till the court puts you out. If you're struggling to find housing, you need to start applying. Or if you don't know how to apply, then hire a consultant like me. This is what I do. I own section8consulting.com. I consult with people every day. Most of my clients get a voucher, though it may not be that quick right now. We've had plenty of success. I do have a failure rate of 7%, but I'd say that's a hell of a lot better than what these counselors and social workers are doing for half of you guys, because all they're doing is filling out your name on an application. They don't know anything about how this stuff works. So what I tell you is, look, if you need help, let me tell you something. It might cost a little bit to hire me as a consultant, but what would be the real cost of losing your home and everything and not knowing anything? A lot of you guys spend too much, you're burning up too much time looking around Google, which has a lot of bad advice. And then there's a lot of people that make videos on YouTube. These guys are not consultants, man. I mean, this week they're talking about baking cakes. Next week they're telling you about how there's going to be 4 steps to get a voucher. Look, you're taking advice from idiots. Unless these people have got 20 years in the business, and you can certify their results, you're taking some real big gambles, guys, waiting the last minute. So I'm encourage you to stay with the program. Try to get out there and either learn to do what you need to do or get with an actual consultant. I'm ranked number 1 on YouTube. I'm ranked number 1 on Google. You type in my company anywhere, period. My reputation precedes me. I have nothing to prove to anybody. So let's take a look at some of these comments here. I see y'all are just steadily hammering away at it. So Styles, Scratch Off channel. Hey, Miss Styles, how are you? Jeremiah, just found you about your channel. Keep doing your thing. Yes. I'm loving my cats and trying to save people, man. Trying to get everybody into housing the best I can. And we still, you know what? I know in the last 30 days, I've had, I think, roughly 240 consults in the past month. I can only think of 15 instances where people were unable to get housing. Look, guys, you have to remain sober. You have to stay off drugs. If you have mental imbalances or other issues, you need to make sure that when you're working with me and we're doing consulting, that you're in your best possible mental frame that day, because it's really important that you're working with me on your case. I've been having a lot of problems lately with people that are very entitled. They want to have a consult. Hey, just call me when you've got my voucher. Look, I'll hang up on you and I'll refund your money. I don't have time for lazy people. This is a serious matter. And if you're willing to jeopardize your case because you're unable to stay sober and other issues, then I'm going to drop your case and then refer you to 211. If any of you've dealt with 211, you know that's a nightmare. Those people are, I don't know. I've got to be frank with you. 211's a joke. It should have been shut down a long time ago. It's a calamity, in my opinion. Those people don't know anything. They're typing into a search database, pulling old garbage information, and then trying to refer you to a bunch of bullshit that's not even open. Look, 97% of almost all housing authorities are closed and may remain closed for another several weeks. They don't have the staff to answer phones. They don't have the people there to deal with all this. And so the solution for most housing authorities around the country is just simply shut the door and turn off the phone. Pretty ironic considering we're pouring billions of dollars in this. So I don't want this to seem like a conspiracy. Okay. I'm not trying to pump anybody up like it's international news. Okay. I'm not going to be like Fox News and CNN, whether you're on one political side or another. I'm just saying that's a reality. Call your local housing authority. I guarantee the only thing you're going to get is a busy signal. If you do get somebody, it always reverts back to the 2020 and 2019 rule is you'll get some condescending asshole that doesn't want to say do anything for you, but they have plenty of time to talk shit to you on that phone. Welcome to the housing authority. Okay, look, guys, you have other options. We can deal with subsidized housing. We can deal with continuum of care. There's lots of options out there. But if you guys don't start doing anything, and you're going to wait till your property's in the front lawn, don't expect me to be able to do something in 20 minutes flat for you. That's absurd. So, thing is, I want you guys to help yourself. That's the thing. I provide you guys with data manuals, operations manuals. I've been working through the tests with you guys to get you vouchers, RRH, PSH, housing choice vouchers, emergency vouchers. But some of you guys, it's like you don't care. I need y'all to care. So, Mary Ogles back again, speaking to me in Spanish. Now, look, if you keep speaking to me in Spanish, you're going to have to give me Spanish lessons, Mary. You know that because you keep hitting me up my channel. Felicia Kule, hey, good to see you again. Stacy Lira, he is huge, like my Morrison. Yes, it's like having a bobcat in your house. Big Pops. I don't know if y'all were in the beginning of the video, saw that big old cat, but he's part Maine Coon, he's hybrid, and he's love of my life. I love him to death. And during the winter, he's like a little warming blanket. 30 pounds of warming, I guess. And God help you if you got a chicken strip in the house, because this cat's got some claws. If he wants to eat and you're eating, he will shred your legs. So he has a way of training me. I often feel like he's walking me rather than me walking him. So anyways, I'm veering off course with my cats again. I apologize. So I'm going to roll out and see a few more comments. Stacy Libra, I was denied by rental assistance because my landlord was not cooperating. That's not right. Any ideas? Well, the idea I have is when you actually, if you do land in a court, when the judge sees the guy's just a jerk and he actually refused federal funds, knowing that he has to be and comply, then what's going to end up happening is that landlord is going to be stuck with you another year because the judge is going to award you rent free probably for 6 months to a year. Now, I don't know that technically. I'm not a lawyer, but I've seen a lot of cases where you end up in court and you get a jerk for a landlord and they didn't want to accept the payments. And what ends up happening is the judge's like, oh, well, so you want to evict because they can't pay, but you're too good to accept federal funds. So how about this? We'll zero out rent for a year and then we'll have her move out. And I've seen a lot of that play out lately because judges are getting tired of landlords playing games. So my other suggestion is when you type in housing advocate for your city, it's really important you guys also don't just deal with a consultant like me that helps you deal with the housing into this. You also need to be adequately represented legally. And housing advocates do that. They handle a different spectrum of the housing case. So I would encourage y'all to reach out to legal aid and your housing advocates to get assistance that way. I often communicate with legal aid in a lot of different states for a lot of clients. I know I've on my personal Rolodex, I've got about 80 attorneys that I deal with, from estate attorneys to trust attorneys, and of course legal aid, which are housing. Pretty much, they're almost like housing navigator. They help fight your case against the landlord and so on. So yeah, you need to start fighting that case. Don't wait till things happen. See, landlords move quickly. That's what they're good at doing. And when you sit there idly by, hoping and wishing, that's when you get manhandled with that. And I don't want to see that happen with you guys. You have to fight for this stuff. We're not in the climate anymore where there's not any. The housing market's on fire. Rents are 2 and 3 times higher. Because of the wave of people needing vouchers, it's 4 to 5 times harder to get them. Waiting lists are twice as long. Homeless shelters are closed. And, there's a lot of things going on, guys. If we don't start reacting, let me tell you something. So this extends it to October. So all it does is going to ensure this country goes through the crisis rather than now. It's going to force this crisis for a bunch of people to be on the street for Christmas. I think it's a terrible idea to have extended it in this particular way, because now you're going to leave people out there right around Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't know. Again, opinions, and I'm full of those. So, Shriner stuff. Hey, Jay, glad you're feeling better. So yeah, so I am feeling better, guys. As y'all know, I had a ischemic attack, which is a mini stroke. That was about a couple of weeks ago, and blood pressure 227, weighed in 263 pounds. I've lost 7 pounds, dropped the blood pressure down to 273. I'm working on it this week, but I've stalled on the weight. I keep hitting 257. I'm struggling to get past that. Diet's right, on that exercise bike, but here's the problem. Now that my metabolism's jacked up, it's leveling. It's not letting me lose anything just yet. So I'm gonna keep pushing away at this, because I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave the earth early. I've got too many of you guys that I want to help. So, well, let's see. Letitia H said something, but it was redacted by YouTube. Look, guys, be careful about profanities. I'm allowed to curse as much as I want in my own channel, but the YouTube algorithm doesn't like you to use specific words. If you talk about things like body parts or certain profanities, it will not allow it in the chat. I'll give you a good example. A person was talking about selling a bar stool, but because the word stool is associated with what we know when in a medical term is a stool, YouTube will block it. If you say earring and spell it wrong, ear and then ring, it'll try to block that as well. If you spell it together, it'll allow it to go through. So it's not me blocking your comments, guys. It's because the algorithm doesn't like for you to identify things about American Indians, body parts, and so on. So that's why you might get your comments redacted. All right, so moving back to the original conversation, I want to give those links again for those of you that are showing up a little bit late. And here we go. You need to get these forms in. You need to do this today, not after coffee, not after yoga, not after church. You need to do it today. 2 forms. First link's going to give you the 9 pages to read the whole CDC directive in order. Number 2, you need to do page number 2, link number 2, so you can fill out your form. And I need that. You need to do that signature, certified mail. Don't just stick a stamp, as I mentioned, guys. You need to get that out there, get to the landlord before the landlord gets to you. Also, a lot of you don't realize you can do it last minute, but I wouldn't do this. A lot of people can fill it out in the courtroom and hand it to the judge. Before he hits the hammer, make sure he's got it. Because if he don't, he's got cause for you. Again, I'm not giving out legal advice. I'm just apprising you of your rights, and these are the things that are issued by the CDC, and I want you guys to use it, okay? There's no reason for you to be homeless. Letitia, hey, thank you for your services. Thank you very much for remembering me on that. I always appreciate when y'all appreciate me back, I put 20 years into this. I put 7 years of my life on YouTube. Out of that 20, almost 21 years now, 14 years, I did it and never charged a single person a penny. It breaks my heart when somebody says, oh, I think you're just charging too much and all this. Look, I can't help people from under a bridge. If you like, I can make a video while I go live in a homeless shelter, but I'm not going to do that. I've got cats to take care of. I've got family members, and I got people that need me. So I have to charge something for what I do. Moving on from that. Let's talk about Section 8. A lot of guys, if you're struggling with this, as I said, if you type in www section the number 8 section 8 consulting ing.com, and I'm gonna give it to you real quick. Matter of fact, I'll show you a bunch of different things that I do, especially for those of you that are new to my channel. And give me a minute. I like to copy and paste everything rather than type it. That way there's no mistakes. And copy. Here we go. So I'm going to give my website link here. Take a look. It's a pretty nice website. So if you want to reach out to me and you're tired of searching through YouTube and Google and you're struggling with housing, you get affordable housing, low-income housing, emergency housing, vouchers, or whatever it may be, book a consult with me. You don't have to hire me. There's plenty of other consultants out there. They're probably not as good as me, but that's the reality. Nobody grows up and says, hey, mommy, I want to be a Section 8 consultant, and my business model is I'm going to charge people that have no money. You see my point? So I understand that people don't have money to burn, and I take the responsibility very seriously when I work on cases for people, very seriously. I'm dealing with people that are seniors that are exceptionally old. I deal with people that have a lot of disabilities, some people that have extreme mental disabilities. Families with children that are living in their cars, living in the woods. I've got elderly people that are rotting away in homeless shelters. This is what I do. This is how I choose to spend my life. I can go out and buy the newest iPhone, or I can spend my time and effort trying to help people, and that's what I prefer to do. Second to that are my cats. If I was a dog lover, I would have lots of dogs. So you know how that goes. So looks like we got a light crowd today. I guess August has been a slow month. I've been seeing the numbers drop a lot. So that means everybody's kids are going back to school, and YouTube's just not as hot as it used to be. But that's all right. So anybody have any questions about Section 8, you're welcome back. If you have any questions about the CDC directive or memorandum, I'm happy to answer questions about that to the best of my ability. And again, there's links everywhere in the comments section, in the actual description of the video, and as well as in the live chat here where we're chatting together. And you can look and actually file your report if you need to. So it looks like it was a quiet day. So it looks like I'm probably going to shut this down pretty soon unless somebody has anything they'd like to ask. Still quiet. Nobody talking. All right. Well, before I go, y'all, I'm going to give you those links one more time to the CDC. And these two links here will allow you to read about it and also file your CDC forms if you need them. It's been a pleasure and an honor talking to y'all, and we'll see y'all again in a few days. All right. Bye-bye.